Everybody, sorry, we're having a few technical difficulties as usual. The countdown didn't quite work, but welcome everybody, and looking forward to getting started tonight. As Andrew just mentioned, Rick Kimmel, our camp director, is having some technical difficulties logging in tonight. We're going to hear from Ken McCaffrey as well. He is our assistant camp director and program director. And then we have Kyle Lachana tonight as well, our camp commissioner. My name is Corey Groth. I am your local camping director. And we'll also be hearing tonight from Chris Hopkins, who has some really cool information for us. All right, so tonight's agenda, we'll be talking about legendary camp service, camp check-in procedures, weekly camp schedule, summer camp COVID procedures, planning for camp, making 2023 camp reservations, a question and answer session. And then just a little webinar housekeeping before I turn it over to Chris Hopkins is remember that all attendees tonight are in listen only mode. So we can't see or hear you, but don't worry, we'll see and hear you when you come to camp. But you can use the chat feature to enter any questions that you might have. Please also know that the webinar is being recorded and all of the slide decks and recordings will be posted on our website in the next couple days following the webinar. So those who missed out can log in and view it themselves. All right, Chris, would you like to talk about your big announcement on what's new for 2022?
Absolutely. Thanks, Corey, and welcome everyone. So we got some exciting news to share with you tonight. And if Corey would flip to the next slide for me, there we go. So we have for this summer at each of our scout camps across the MCC, our own camp app. And each of the camps will have their own, and I'll share with you you'll see the sample, but it's going to be cold, but they're all going to look very similar and act pretty much the same way. So Corey, if you want to go to the next slide. So a little bit about the camp app. Number one, it's leader focused, and it's available for Android and iPhone. So both platforms, and you'll be able to start downloading it from the Google Play Store or App Store after June 1st. It's going to feature daily schedules, right? So you won't have to carry a lot of paper around with you. You'll be able to look at your phone, see the daily schedule, the menus, which I believe we uploaded today. Maps, both of how to get to camp as well as the camp map itself. So if you're new to Camp Rotary, you'll be able to find out where you need to be. There will be a weather widget, or there is a weather widget. So you'll be able to look at the current forecast, the current temperatures, kind of the outlook for the rest of the week while you're at camp. There's a feedback form. So if you run into a staff member who's done a great job and you want to kind of give some shout outs, you'll be able to do that through the feedback form, and that'll go to the camp administration so that they can be aware of it as well. That feedback form can also be used if there's an issue that needs to be addressed that may not be an emergency, but hey, you just want to make somebody aware of something, throw it in the feedback form, and it will be addressed either by, the camp ranger or the camp administration, depending on what it is. Contacts. So there's a section in there for contacts. So if you have a medical emergency and you need to reach the health officer, you can just hit the health officer, and their phone number will be pre-populated in there. And you'll be able to dial them right from that. Again, if it's a non-emergency, you can contact the camp director or the camp ranger. I think are the three folks that we have in there that are built in. The other neat feature is push notifications, right? So if there's a schedule change or location change for something, we'll be able to send out a push notification to you so that you can get that information kind of real time and not have to run down to the camp office or walk swiftly to the camp office and get that information or chase down the commissioner or whatever. So hopefully that will help with the communication throughout your week at camp. So next slide, if you would. So this is kind of what it looks like. You'll see on the first set of screens there, as I mentioned, the leader's guide, schedules, food, which includes the menus, maps, weather, camp contacts. There's some other websites and documents that may be helpful to you while you're at camp. I mentioned the feedback form, and then the My Profile, which is really kind of the third screen, allows you to turn off notifications and turn them on. And what I would recommend people do is turn off your notifications until you get to camp and then turn them on. Because what will happen if you're coming to camp week 3, you're going to get push notifications for everybody that's coming week 1, right? Regarding schedule changes or there's a thunderstorm rolling in or whatever. So that's my recommendation, to turn those off, turn them on when you get to camp. And then when you leave camp, if you want to be in the know about what's happening, you can leave them on, but it could be an annoyance. So we would recommend that you turn it off. In the middle screen there is as I mentioned, the daily schedule. And these are kind of the special programs, camp-wide activities maybe that are happening on each night. And if you click onto those, Corey can't, but when you click into it, for example, game night, it'll give you a little bit more information about what game night is, where it is. You see the time there, 7 to 8:30. So it may give you a little bit more information about, if there's a sign up, hey, head to the dining hall or whatever to sign up prior to that. All that information will be in there, provided that we've been provided that. So pretty cool, I think. The interesting thing about the leader's guide and that kind of thing, you don't have to certainly carry paper around with you, and you can actually download it right to your device from inside there. So once you go into the leader's guide, there's a place you can download it. You can download it to your phone. The leader's guide's probably not going to change during summer camp. So you can have that on your device at all times. And if you don't have great cell service or whatever, then it won't, cause you any trouble with that. So again, there's not a lot that will be, the push notifications, maybe some menu changes or something based on supply issues that might change. But, the weather widget is the only one that is probably, is kind of real time that you're going to need a little bit of service for, but not a ton. So I'm happy to take, and I don't think there's another slide, Corey, is there? I think that was it. Yep. Happy to take any questions in the chat if you have any. We're going to be sending out some marketing materials and some communication about that, where you can download it, when you can download it, and that type of thing. So pretty excited about it. I think it's, going to certainly be conservation minded, so we don't have to print a lot of paper. And we know what happens when we have paper and there's liquid sunshine, right? Things get wet and damp and hard to read and that type of thing. So hopefully this will be a tool that our leaders can use during the summer. So again, happy to take any questions in the chat. And if not, I'll pass it back to Corey. Thanks, Corey.
All right. Thank you, Chris. It sounds very similar to the app that we used at Mac Rendezvous this year. It's the first time I've been to a major event that had an app like that. And it was a lot of fun and an easy way to get information out very, very quickly. So thanks to Chris and the whole team that have been working on making sure that that's available for all of our camps this summer. So we'll definitely enjoy it. Ken, do I have you up next for Legendary Camp Service?
No, that'd be me.
Oh.
Can you hear me, Corey?
I can. Rick, I misspoke. Welcome, Rick.
That's okay. That's okay. One never knows some days. So legendary camp service and our commitment to you. Next slide, please. Our commitment, we, the camp staff, are dedicated to providing our customers and guests a legendary scout camp experience while participating in our life-changing year-round camp programs. We are committed to providing facilities, programs, services, and camp leadership that will consistently exceed the expectations of our customers and guests. Our Michigan Scout camps will be safe havens for the experiencing the best of the adventures and values of the Boy Scouts of America. Our planning focus, we will strive to plan an innovative program that meets the needs of all Scouts and one that will be provided by qualified and talented staff. We will work diligently to plan and implement a high-quality food service program. We will continue to upgrade and refresh our facilities. We will engage you, our leaders, in the process and implementation. And now for some COVID-19 procedures for 2022. Next slide, thank you. The best way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 is to keep the virus from getting into the camp program in the first place. If an attendee of your unit presents with COVID-19 symptoms prior to your departure to camp, you should have the individual or individuals stay at home from camp. Camps will not be utilizing or collecting a pre-camp screening for the 2022 camping season. Testing resources and locations can be found by visiting www.michigan.gov/coronavirus-test. All summer camp participants are strongly encouraged to be vaccinated. Vaccination has proven incredibly effective as the leading public health prevention strategy. Visit www.vaccines.gov to learn more, where you can get vaccinated against COVID-19. Next slide, please. Masking. Masks are not required while at camp. Unvaccinated participants are encouraged to wear masks while at camp. For MDHHS guidance on masking, please visit www.michigan.gov/coronavirus. At camp hygiene, campers are encouraged to wash their hands often. When washing with soap and water is not an option, the use of an alcohol-based sanitizer is encouraged. Every program area and key locations in camp will have hand sanitizer available for use. Camp-provided hand washing stations are available near all our dining facilities. Camps will require the washing of hands prior to entering the dining facility. Campers taking part in campsite and/or patrol cooking are strongly encouraged to require hand washing at the campsite prior to meals. Camp will utilize approved disinfectants at all program areas. Campers may be asked to wipe the area of use and/or equipment prior to leaving an activity session. Camp will sanitize public showers and toilet facilities multiple times daily. Okay, let's go into some required documents now. Camper forms. You need the youth member release and waiver of liability form, the adult member release and waiver of liability form, supplemental medical permission form, and the annual health and medical record parts A, B, and C. Particularly, you need to make sure you have Part C, that is where your doctor signs and approves you for camp. Unit forms, summer camp unit checklist, and the unit commitment to transport form. The unit will keep the release and waiver forms, supplemental medical waivers in a binder in their campsite. All other forms will be turned in at check-in. And now to Ken for check-in procedures.
All right, welcome. So once again, this year we will be using the time check-in process. So in about a week before you're scheduled to come to camp, you'll receive a phone call and an email with your scheduled time. With that, we will be having to be temp checking, but you will not have to stay in your car until that is done. So during your check-in process with the health officer, we will be doing a temp check. Once you arrive to camp, though, you will be greeted in the parking lot by your unit host, and they will help guide you through the whole check-in process. First place we're going to be is with the paperwork check-in and the health officer. So it's very important at this stage, though, that you have all your paperwork sorted by the type of paperwork, as in all your health forms are together, all your DHS forms are together. Do not pack them by participant. It does take longer to separate those into each type of paperwork instead. After your paperwork is turned in, your guide will take you through the rest of our check-in stations. We'll be, reviewing the safety videos, dining hall orientation, where you're getting your table for the week in the dining hall, and doing swim checks. Once those things are done, then you'll be able to go to your campsite and set up. So very good idea is to have your scouts have their swimsuits either on underneath their uniform or in a backpack with them. So you'll be able to change at either the dining hall or in the changing station we have down in our aquatics area. It'll save a lot of time than having to go back to campsite and trying to dig through their luggage and trying to find those. And then next slide. Another big time saver will be if you can do a pre-camp swim check. We have one scheduled at camp on June 11th between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. We still have time slots available. So if you can get online and register for those, I will be putting the link into the chat for you. And you can get those taken care of before you get to camp, and that will save you a lot of time during the check-in process. All right, next on to our weekly schedule. So just a quick look at what your day at camp was going to look like. 7:40, which is 5 minutes earlier than what we used to do. We will have flag raising on the parade field. After that, at 8 o'clock, we'll go up to the dining hall for breakfast. From 9 to 12, scouts will be in their merit badge sessions. 12:15 will be lunch back in the dining hall. And then 1:30 to 4:30, more merit badge sessions. 4:30 to 5:30 is troop time. This would be a good time for you to have scouts come back to your campsites and do any projects that you need to get done around this camp for this week. 5:40, we're back at the parade field for flag lowering, and then up to the dining hall at 6 o'clock for dinner. And then 7 to 9, we have all of our open programs and some select merit badges going on at that time. And that's just a rough overview of what the daily life will be at camp. All right, Rick.
Okay, planning for camp. Next slide. May 1st through June 1st, confirm transportation arrangements to and from camp for like departure place and time, drivers. Also, you talk about pickup place and time of that, and for drivers also. collect youth protection form training, proof of BSA membership, and DHS clearance letters for all adults attending camp. Also secure a copy of the council's accident insurance for out of council units only. Next slide. Ideal timeline. Now, 2 weeks prior to coming to camp, SPL and Scribe complete the camp roster sheet. Confirm final transportation arrangements. Inventory all your equipment. Set up and inspect your tents. This will help with any repairs that need to be made so you don't get any leakage in your tents at camp. All required paperwork is organized and ready for transport. And call the camp to confirm special dietary needs. And these are listed on your unit registration. And then prerequisite slips signed by the unit leadership or merit badge counselor. And now on to Kyle.
All right, so as you can see, we've filled a lot of director positions lately, so we're doing well on that, but we still have some staffing needs for this upcoming summer, and we're about a month out, so it's very important we get some of these filled. If you know anyone in your life that could fill one of these roles or is interested, I'm going to drop the link below to the camp staff app. One note is that this is the application for all of our camps, so if they want to work at Camp Rotary specifically, they need to make sure to select that, or any other camps they'd like to try out for. Theirs are also included. Below we have all of the job listings that we currently have, as well as any age restrictions that are on them. Any ones that are not marked with an age are typically 15 or 16 plus, and the rest are 18 plus that are still available. So if you know anyone that needs either that first job experience or just a nice place to go for the summer, maybe a college student that's in between semesters, this is a really good opportunity. It's open to scouts and non-scouts, so don't feel like scouting is a barrier to this position. This can fill or be filled by anybody. So if you know anyone that's interested, please let them know. Again, the link is in the chat below if you're watching this on recording. And yeah, so thank you.
Okay, making 2023 reservations. So units at camp will get priority on the same session, same campsite the following year. Units wishing to take advantage of this must utilize the Site Saver feature on their 2022 reservations or go to the camp office for assistance. A $200 deposit is due at the time of wow, sorry about that. A $200 deposit is due at the time of reservation, and the deposit is non-refundable. Priority reservations must be made by 5 p.m. on the Wednesday that your unit is at camp. Okay, units wishing to move sessions. Alrighty.
Just keeping everybody awake.
I gotta say, well, I gotta say I was gonna talk.
My cat is messing with my mouse, actually, so sorry about that.
That's appropriate. Units wishing to move sessions / camps or units that went out of council for the 2022 camping season will need to follow the steps below. Log into the 2023 reservation site of the camp you would like to attend. Select the session you would like to attend. Sessions go live the same session at 8 a.m. on Friday, i.e. session 3 in 2023 will be available to reserve at 8 a.m. on Friday during session number 3 in 2022. Make your $200 deposit at the time of reservation Again, this deposit is non-refundable. Camp availability is on first come, first served basis. And the 2023 camp dates. Session 1, June 25th through July 1st. Session 2, July 2nd through July 8th. Session 3, July 9th through July 15th. Session 4, July 16th through July 22nd. Session 5, July 23rd through July 29th. And session 6, July 30th through August 5th. And now back to Ken for a year-round program.
All right, I was caught sleeping. I thought I was done.
Aha!
Hey,
All right.
Ken, before you jump in, apologies. I think
No.
it's important to point out to everyone on the call or that will be watching this webinar later that Rotary's dates have moved back by a whole week next year. So camp is starting a week later than it has the last couple of years. With our camp cycle, about every 5 seasons, we have to push back. So if you're coming the week of June 19th this year, then when you sign up for camp for session 1 next year, it'll be a week later on the 25th. And that'll continue on down through. Rotary had to do that for next year, and so did Cole Canoe Base.
All right, thanks, Andrew. Okay, first up, for any of you that are also affiliated with a PAC, we have our August Fun with Cub Camp coming up on August 18th. We also have our Merit Badge Madness coming up on September 9th. September 24th, we have our Daddy-Daughter Dance. And then October 22nd is our big one of every year, is our Claire Witch Project. That is usually, we see large crowds come through the camp that day. Again, December 10th, we will be having our Breakfast with Santa. The big man is always happy to show up at camp for some free breakfast. And come January 21st of 2023 will be our Winter Carnival. And then following up with March of 25th of 2023 is our Mother and Son Dance.
Hey, Ken, do you
And then
mind if I
check-
jump in and add something? For those of you who have never been to Claire Witch, that's a phenomenal program that Rotary's been doing for a very long time. And your troop can do more than just attend. You can actually be part of what we call a fright site. So you set up a campsite to be super scary, and we take people through on hay rides so that they can see it. So think about that as you're planning out your troop calendar. That's a really fun project to be a part of. We have a troop that helped build a haunted house this year that was ridiculously scary. So if you have some creative scouts in your area, think about that. And then Merit Badge Madness started last year in response to our COVID procedures where we had to operate in pods, in the pod system. If you remember that, I know people cringe at the word pod now. But there were a lot of scouts who just couldn't get into some of the popular merit badges because of the way we had to operate through COVID. So we held a weekend in September so that we could offer those merit badges again over just a shortened camp period over the weekend. So each of our scout camps, or Scouts BSA camps, are going to be offering that. So definitely put that date on your calendar, especially if your scouts have an amazing time and want to do more stuff before they really get too far into the school year. And then I think before we move on any further, there were a couple other questions in the chat before they get too far. Looks like some of them might have been answered, but somebody just asked, we have a girl who's gonna arrive separate from their troop on Sunday. What's the protocol for her coming in later? What'd you say, Ken? Check in at the office?
Actually, Linda, if you check your email, I have already responded to that. But yeah, you just bring your paperwork in with you for when the rest of your troop checks in, and when the scout shows up, she can just check in at the office.
Perfect. And there's another one I just wanted to shout out before we move on. Somebody asked what to do to fill out a CIT application. If you don't know what that means counselor in training. So youth that want to check it out and see if camp staff is something that they want to do in the future and try it out for a week or so can fill out that same application. And I know Andrew answered that for us in the chat, but I wanted to clarify for you guys what a CIT was. All right. Ken, did you have anything else to add? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Yep, no, I was just saying for any other activities and whatnot, you can check the council website calendar and they're all listed on there also.
All right, so it looks like we have a couple questions about going back over the document slides. I'm gonna back way up.
Actually, Corey, I'll address that.
Sure.
One of the things we did last year is we put out a list of forms to bring. We split that up by youth, adult, and camp level forms. I had just texted Ken and the team and said we should probably look at updating that for Rotary, but the reality is we need to look at updating that across the system. So we will be updating that form from last year. That spells out every form that you have to bring with you, and we will post that on the registration page, as well as email that out to all of our units that are attending camp, because we do understand that there are a lot of forms, and we also know that with the state of Michigan just putting out their COVID regulations last week, that there's some additional forms we need to add that are not going to be listed in those places, such as the leader's guide or on this slideshow. So we'll work on putting together here by the end of this week that forms to bring checklist, and we will get that distributed across the entire MCC for all of our Scout summer camps.
Somebody else asked in the chat, what is the adult release and waiver form? So just to clarify, that is a council form that we've been using for every single event since we were allowed to host events again during the pandemic. And I think Ken mentioned earlier that the youth release form and the adult release form, waiver forms for those, you are able to keep in your campsite as a unit. We just need the checklist clarifying that all of those exist. That is different than the DHS clearance form. The release and waiver of liability forms are strictly COVID forms. And then the supplemental medical permission form, that is not for everyone. That is just for, if you read the form, it's for certain circumstances on age and certain medical issues that you might have. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? Ken, do you want to clarify about how to share tents this summer?
Yep, tents are, I mean, everything is